What's up, guys? Michael here. I want to do a little bit of video on my Tesla Model 3 that I've had for going on about 4 months now. I feel like I'm at the point where I can give a good, unbiased review of the car. So I got this car, I believe it was back in or actually March. I was having a lot of issues with my Kia that is over there, right by the trash cans, because yeah. But I was having a lot of issues with my Kia. I was in the dealership for 2 months getting a new transmission, and there was some misfiring issues. But anyways, I want to get to my review of my 2025 Model 3. This is a base, long range, rear wheel drive. Nothing crazy, nothing special, not a performance, not a dual motor. But this is the car. It is in I believe they call it slate gray. And I actually really like this color. I just detailed it. I ceramic coated it 2 weeks ago now with CarPro Gliss. And this paint does reflect really well. It has a nice sheen to it. It also has some nice metallic in it. These cars have a glass roof all the way across, which is pretty nice. But I'll show you kind of what I did to combat the full glass roof in these. But just a little walk around to the car. Oh, yeah. So, how do I like the car? Well, to be honest with you, I am a big gasoline guy. So, how do I like the car? Well, I actually love it. I was one of those anti-electric people for quite a long time. Never saw the appeal of electric cars. Always thought they were kind of stupid, so on and so forth. But I must say that I was proven extremely wrong. So I've owned this, like I said, about 4 months. I have 99% of the time I've been charging the car at home. I got the mobile charger. I'll show you on the wall what I got set up. So on the wall over here, I had a NEOM 1450 plug installed with a 50 amp breaker by an electrician. And I had this installed. So the mobile charger allows me to charge at 32 amps, which is plenty fast enough for me. So basically with 32 amp installer or 32 amp charger, if I come home and the car's say at 10%, which is very rare, I even drive that much, but say I come home at 10%, basically 8 hours, it's fully charged again. Sometimes it's 8 hours in that range. Most of the time though, I'm doing, depending if I drive this car for work, if I'm doing 200 miles, it takes about 6 to 7 hours to charge. And I will say, the one thing that has been really nice is the cost savings in fuel. I calculated it out. It's about half the price of what I would pay if I were to fill up my gas car. And that's caused... So obviously one thing is you open the door, you are greeted with ambient lighting that wraps all the way around, that is fully customizable. One thing really nice, I'm a traveling salesperson. I get in and out of my car a lot. And the nice thing is I have my phone with me all the time. You walk up to the car, it unlocks. You walk away, the car automatically locks. You open the doors, the HVAC starts up and starts cooling the car down. So I'm going to go on the inside and show you all the stuff on the interior that I really like. It's better than any car I've ever driven. It just sounds amazing. I had a 2026 K5. It was a GT line, but it was a floated one as a rental when that car was in the shop. And it had I think it was a Bose or Harman Kardon sound system with a sub and all that. This car sounds hands down way better on across the board, on highs and lows and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so as far as the interior, I will say it took me not that long to get used to your actual turn signals right here. That is something I thought that was going to cause some issues with me. I thought it would be like weird not having a turn stalk here, but I ride motorcycles, and on motorcycles it's a very similar setup where you have like kind of, you push right to go right, you push left to go left. So right here it just becomes very natural where you just click. I've seen a lot of other videos that complain that like if you rest your hand here, the turn signals will turn on. I've never had that issue, so I don't know if they've fixed that in these newer cars or not, but never had a single issue with accidentally activating them. I don't know if they're capacitive, but they do have like a click to them, and it does physically feel like you're pushing it in. So if they are capacitive, I will say they've done a fantastic job at making them feel like real buttons. You have your flashers, and then your joystick here to control all your media. So you can kind of scroll through everything. I'm not going to play too much music because I do not want to get copyrighted, but you have all your controls here, very convenient while you're driving down the road, very easy to access. This side, you have your cameras, so you have your left and your right blind spot cameras, and then your rear reverse camera, which is very nice. And then you have all your windshield wiper settings here. And then everything else, there's no other buttons on the interior. These are all the physical or even capacitive buttons that you get in the car. I thought I would not enjoy it all that much, but honestly, after owning the car for 4 months, I don't mind it one bit. I actually prefer it because I'm a big tech person, and the one thing that I really enjoyed is that since I've owned this car, it's probably gotten 6 or so updates, and they've improved a lot of things in the car. They've changed how the dash cam operates. You have all your dash cam settings here, which is really nice, and you can go back and see, pre-recorded footage. You can see all corners as well, which is very nice. They added the left pillars to be added into the recording. So my bag's there, but they added the pillar cameras to also be accessible now, which is really nice. When I got the car, that was not there. In here, you have all your settings. You guys can watch a lot of videos on this. I'm not going to go through everything, but there are a ton of settings in here. And so on and so forth. The seats are very comfortable. They are just like a fake leather. Obviously, they're not real leather, but they are perforated and they are vented, cooled, and heated. So, especially I live in South Florida, they feel amazing in the summertime. So, definitely use those pretty much every single day, especially in the summer. I have them on right now. Cool thing is, if you're driving around a lot, you're stopping at places, you can just sit in the car and have the HVAC running, and it's just running. You're not sitting in an idling car. Obviously, if you're sitting here running the HVAC, you are using some battery. You can see what the car is charging at right now. It's not charging right now, but you can see what it would be. It gives you a whole graph. I have my charging set to 80%. So, would I recommend these cars to someone that drives a lot every day? 100%. I think if you're doing under 250 miles a day, I think these cars are 100% capable. They do advertise a 350 mile range, I want to say. But in reality, you're getting about 320 or so. I've driven this car from the west coast of Florida, from the east coast of Florida to the west coast of Florida on full self-driving, and I had zero issues. Absolutely loved it. My wife and I take this car pretty much everywhere we go just because it's so easy to drive. It's so easy to get around. I really like the steering wheel. Like, if you are physically driving the car, the steering wheel feels very good in your hand. It's a weird thing, I know, but every other car I've driven, like the steering wheel now, I don't know why, but this steering wheel just feels good. It feels the right size. You can kind of rest at 12 o'clock. You can rest your hand here, drive it fine. You can kind of grab the bottom like that, and it just works great. You have all your door controls over here, your door release, and then you also have a manual door release right here, which you'll really never have to use unless, the battery dies or whatnot. Let's talk about some things that I don't like. All right, so let's talk about some things that I do not like about the car. First is the roof. So if you can notice, you can't really see through on the roof on mine. I bought shades from a company called Vion. I think it's Vion. I'll put the link in the description. But these are full glass roofs. So back there, you can see there's a shade back there, and there's shade directly above me. If these are not up, it is a full transparent roof, which is really nice. It looks good. It makes the cabin feel really open, but in the South, down here in Florida, or if you're in Texas or Arizona, any of those areas where it's really hot, it cooks in these cabins. Like, before I got the sunshade, when I would park the car, the cabin would get up to like 145 degrees plus, and that wasn't even at the hottest point in the year. Now with these sunshades, the hottest I've seen it is about 125, 130 in that range. So these have dropped the cabin temperature about 25 degrees, which is pretty substantial in my opinion. And the other nice thing is that the HVAC does not have to work as hard, because I noticed even like if you were driving and then you come up to a stoplight and you're sitting at a stoplight, like you could just feel the heat from the sun cooking you. And I did not like that one bit. So these have made a huge difference. If you buy a Model 3 or even Model Y, highly recommend these. They make a massive difference if you're in a hot state. All right, so then the next thing I want to talk about that I do not like is the automatic wipers. I see this all over. The automatic wipers are very notoriously bad in these cars for some reason. I have noticed in the last update, they have seemed to get a little bit better, which I like. But the issues is that they will turn on too late most of the time. By the time they turn on is like your windshield's completely covered in rain and you can barely see. And then also sometimes they'll just randomly activate during the day. I think it's like if it sees a weird shade or something like that, they will just automatically turn on and start wiping for no apparent reason. And then also when it starts drizzling, they'll sometimes just go full speed for no reason either. So the wipers are definitely a little finicky in this car because they are automatic. I'm not going to press the button because I don't want to activate them right now. But you can control the speed manually, turn them off, and then control the speed manually. But in my experience, I found that the car will still sometimes override that and turn the speed up on you. So it's kind of a hit or miss. Like I said, I have noticed it seems to be getting better, which is a good thing because they were really annoying for a while. But going back to some of the things I really like, those are really the only two things I don't like about the car. Overall, I love every other aspect of it. One thing I don't see a lot of people talk about is that the mirrors are auto dimming mirrors. So is the rear view mirror, and then also both side mirrors are auto dimming. So it makes it really nice at night. Like if you have someone driving up behind you and they have their eyes on, or even just lights that are blinding you. It is nice to having auto dimming mirrors. I've never had that in any other car, so really nice to have that. I didn't even know that was a feature when I bought this car until I drove it at night, and I was like, no kidding, these have auto dimming mirrors on them. And you can kind of see the outline, the blue outline in the mirror right there. That is, I don't even know what technology they use, but it is a technology that allows it to auto dim pretty much. But yeah, so if you are a tech person and you just love technology and you're open to the idea of an electric car, highly recommend the Teslas. I've been really enjoying mine so far. I know there's a lot of political people out there that aren't ever going to buy a Tesla because of Elon Musk and whatnot, but these are for the normal people that don't really care, just want something they like and enjoy. Highly recommend it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. You do have a lot of settings in here, and the other thing I can't really show you right now, but the phone app, the Tesla app to control the car it's phenomenal. It allows you to pretty much do everything you can to the car, besides like some of these really deep settings like your autopilot settings and so on and so forth. But you can beep your horn, turn your lights on, you can turn your air conditioning on, you can open up the rear, you can pop a door, you can open the front area. There's a bunch of settings in there. So nice thing. So I am 6'3". To put it into perspective, I have a ton of headroom in this car, and without these shades in, you can kind of see they push up quite a bit. Like I have a lot of headspace in here, which I really like. When I get in the car, I don't feel crunched in. The Kia K5 GT that I own, that cabin, especially with their full pano roof, feels like my head is touching the ceiling in that car. No matter how I adjust the seat, my head's always touching the roof in that car. So I fit very comfortably in here. There's a lot of room. I can stretch my legs out all the way, and my seat's not even all the way back. The rear is a little more cramped, so if you have some bigger people in here, kids, completely fine. But I'm going to show you guys the room in the back and also the front area. So this is the room in the back. You have quite a bit of decent amount of room. This is my driving position, so I'm pretty far back. I'm not all the way back, but pretty close. So that's kind of where my wife normally sits as well, in the front, and that's kind of where her seat is positioned, but she has plenty of room to where she could even scoot up. But yeah, it's definitely not meant, like, I wouldn't go on like a 4 or 5 hour road trip with, 4 grown adults that are over probably 5'6", 5'7", but you could make it work. It just wouldn't be the most comfortable compared to like a full-size sedan or a Model Y. In the back, you do have window controls. I want to show you this. This is one thing I'm not necessarily a huge fan of. Haven't seen people talk about, but that is the window all the way down. You cannot go any more down than that. So kind of weird, but it is what it is. Nice thing, you have automatic one-touch windows up and down, which is really nice. So I've really liked that. Your passengers have their door pop here, and there is, just so safety, there is a manual door release down here. You pop there's a little card here that pops out, and there's a manual pull in case for some reason, like I said, the car loses battery and whatnot. But a lot of room. You have full cup holders, armrest right here. I really haven't had anyone back here besides one time, but they said it was pretty comfortable. You do have, obviously, your screen back here with all of your HVAC controls. Someone can watch their own movies back here, listen to their own music, and I believe you can actually split the audio system where it will play music through the speakers in the back only, which is kind of cool. And they also obviously can adjust their settings. All right, let's talk about the trunk. So it is a powered liftgate up and down, which is very nice. A lot of room in here. I got some work stuff in here right now, but you got a lot of room in here. The seats do fold down, so you can fit longer items if you need to. You got some LED lights up top, which is nice. There's a ton of storage room. Again, I have more work stuff underneath here, but ton of storage room down here, so you can fit a lot of stuff down there. Again, power lift up and down, which is very nice. So you can, again, control that from the app. You can also control it if you walk up to the back of the car while it's locked. It'll beep a couple times and then open the trunk area, which is pretty cool. But yeah, overall, guys, that is my review and my video on my 2025 Model 3 Long Range. I will put my referral code down in the video description if anyone's interested in buying a Model 3 or a Model Y or any model for that reason. It does give you guys a discount towards your new purchase, and also gives me a little bit of kickback as well. But overall, extremely happy. If you're looking for a good car for a daily driver to commute, to get to work and whatnot, or even just get around town, in my opinion, I don't think there's a better car right now. What prompted me to try an electric car is I feel like all the gasoline cars now are having issues. I mean, all the Toyotas, the Hondas, the Kias, the Hyundais, everything. It seems like there's recalls and there's issues and there's constant things where the cars have to be in the dealership. That car needed a new transmission at right around 30,000 miles. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try something different. If I don't like it, I give it up after 2 years. It's a lease. I got a 15,000 mile lease on this car. And my payment, just to be clear with everyone, is around $350 a month. So, and I didn't put anything down besides $1,100, which was like my tax, title, fees, and all that stuff, which you're gonna have to pay at any dealership. The other really nice thing is that I've bought, I don't know, a lot of cars at this point, probably 7 cars from a dealership over the years. And I've never had an experience as nice as buying a car as, I've never had as good as dealership experience buying a car as a Tesla. Pretty much, if you guys aren't familiar with the process, everything is done through their app. Like 95% is done through the Tesla app. So you do your finance, or you pick your car, you reserve the car, you do all your financing paperwork, or if you're paying cash, you do that through the app. They have a wire transfer money, but you do everything in the app. You show up to the dealership on the assigned date, which you can pick as well. I was able to get this car within, I want to say it was 3 days or 2 days of me ordering it, because it was cars that was in stock. So all I do, went to the dealership that day. There's a bunch of videos online you can watch of people doing that. I showed up to the dealership within 10, I would say actually within 5 minutes. I had my key cards, I accepted the car, and I played with the car a little bit before I drove off, but you can inspect the car and all that stuff as well. My tag was already on the car right there, which was nice. So I didn't have to do anything. It was just such a nice experience. If you guys have bought cars from any big dealership in general, it's a couple hour process. You're having to haggle, you're having to argue with the finance managers, you're having to argue with the sales people. It's never a fun experience for the most part. This, you know what you're paying, you know what your interest rate's going to be, so on and so forth. I love it. So at the moment, I am sold on these cars. Definitely something I will continue to use, and I definitely will make an updated video once I've put even more miles on the car and how it's holding up. But so far, I have no really complaints besides the 2 that I listed. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comment box. Thanks for watching.